Hey y'all, I'm Shayla, and today is the beginning of August, and I wanted to take you guys through my garden since the last time that I brought you guys through. There haven't been a ton of changes in the way of tomatoes, except they're really super tall. I do just want to let you guys know that if you guys are expecting a perfect garden, a perfect looking garden, one that's extremely manicured and well maintained, this is not the place for that. I've actually had people who have made comments about that, and that's fine. You know, I'm showing you my real life, so sometimes it's pretty and sometimes it's not. And we have gone through and we're transitioning our garden, and for me and my boys that takes time. So let's get started. Okay, what you're seeing down in there is yarrow and some tyroselle, which makes a really lovely drink, and it's back in the area that's fenced in where my pool is. I didn't bring the keys out. I just wanted to show you guys what's going on back in there, that we have planted out some things. And then, of course, this is where our corn was. We have pulled all the corn up, and we're going to weed it. And then once we get it weeded out, we're going to plant a cover crop. And I have one that is a volunteer zinnia that was under the corn that we couldn't see it until we moved the corn. So okay, so here's my jungle of tomatoes, and we got a little bit behind on pruning, and so there's a little bit of yellowing leaves and stuff like that that I normally just prune off of here, but I got a little bit behind on that. As you see, we have tomatoes and loads of blossoms still. And I know that some people are just now really getting, you know, they're not just really just now starting to harvest, but we've been canning, and I've been putting tons and tons in the freezer so that I can can them later. But all these through here are Amish paste, with the exception of, let me show you guys. So this plant right here, there was a different plant here prior, but it was, it became diseased, and so I went ahead and pulled it out and replaced it with one that I had that, it was an extra that I had, and it didn't die. Even though I didn't transplant it out, it just stayed small and didn't die. So I went ahead and transplanted it out, and so we've got a new one here that's growing. Same thing for this right here. This is a cherry tomato. Supposed to be black cherry, I think. It might be Chadwick cherry though, so we'll see. But anyways, another cherry. There's also two more, if I can find those plants. I think this one right here, yeah, this one right here, I'm not sure what kind it is. The tomatoes look, well, they're round. They are not the Amish paste shape. So this is clearly an Amish paste. This one, oh, here, look, right there are some ripe ones. They are round, but they are more of like a purplish color. So I'm not sure. It was supposed to be an Amish paste. And there's one more like that down through here too. And I'm not sure where that one is. But there's two of them. Oh, it's over here a little bit. So there's two of them. See, it's got a purplish hue that's right there. So I'm not sure what those two are. They were supposed to be Amish paste, but they're not. So anyways, I'm fine with that though. I've been using them, they're good. Alright, and so then up through here, these 4 plants through here Those 4 plants are Better Boys, and they are still loaded. If you see, they are extremely healthy looking. You know, I can't complain at all about them. They don't really show any disease or anything. I do have some, the area where I had, which is right here, which has got some weeds in the bags that I haven't pulled because the weeds kind of got out of control for me this year. We just really started focusing more on our garden at home than we did at my mom and dad's, so I'm still a little bit behind, but we are working on it. So anyways, these are determinate tomatoes, so they're getting ready to be taken out, and we're going to plant some other stuff behind it. I'm not sure what. We may plant some lettuce or carrots or something. I don't know. Anyways, Tomatillos, as you see, they're loaded. We had one right here. It broke off right in there, and it put out all these little extra branches, and they are just loaded. This one right here, part of it is dead and the other part is not, so I'm just leaving it alone for right now. I ended up, these are silver slicers that I planted, and as you see, we've got some hanging on here that are little. I ended up, we pulled out some of our cucumbers before that were back here. We left a few plants, and then I planted these to go up these tomato cages. So I've got lots more cucumbers that are going to be coming in. We didn't have enough to can because I didn't plant enough plants to can any to pickle them. So that's the reason that I am growing these, so that I can pickle them. And as you see, I do have some. Right here's a culprit. We call them bean beetles, although they're on things other than beans, but I don't know exactly what they are. If anybody knows, you can comment below, let me know what their real name is. But as you see, I have planted more. So these right here are just going to get us through, and they're just going to get us started. And we just have been eating lots of refrigerator pickles. We call them cucumbers and onions because we add onions into it, but we just but it's really just refrigerator pickles. So that's gotten us started. But these right here, there's new plants here, and then I'll show you another area where I have planted more cucumbers. Right here are my these are my Black Beauties. They have been so beautiful this year. Last year I only got a few off of them. I have gotten tons of Black Beauties this year, and they are wonderful. And as you see, they actually are, I don't know if you can tell, but right in here, it goes all the way over into this area over here. So it's past the stake by several feet. So those probably are 10 to 11 feet tall. Because these right here, these plants right here are my Dr. Wykes, right? I have 2 Dr. Wykes. And my Dr. Wykes are actually starting to grow over into my cherry tomatoes, which that's these right over here. These are Chadwick cherries. And in front of my Chadwick cherries, I have okra. So these down here are jambalaya okra, and that's where we had one blossom. And I will say that even though these okra are getting kind of on the big side, they're still nice and tender. So I'm gonna, like right here, this one right here, seems like this one is a Clemson spineless. It seems like it would be too big, but it's still pretty flexible, so we'll still use that one. And the okra blossoms are gorgeous. I have basil. These are different types of basil. I have basil in my bags. This plant right here, there are some cherry tomatoes that have grown over into this plant, but this plant right here I believe is a better boy, even though it was supposed to be a black cherry tomato. That one is black cherry, and we've gotten lots off of it too. So my kids really love the black cherry, and what they've been doing is they've been just taking handfuls of cherry tomatoes and just eating them for snacks. So I have a bowl of them on the table, and so that's what we've been doing. Okay, so now over in this here area behind me, I normally have that's where I generally have my squash. I have my pumpkins. I have watermelons. My pumpkins were killed by vine borers. I didn't replant them. They're not a staple to our diet, although we do like to eat like pumpkin bread and that kind of thing. Especially with my husband's diagnosis of diabetes. He's not able to eat as much of that kind of stuff. I'm also working on losing weight, and so I can add it into things like yogurt and stuff like that, which I do love to do. I'll add just a couple tablespoons of pumpkin with some cinnamon and cloves and some ginger, and it's really, really good. It's like pumpkin pie yogurt. But anyways, so we do that, but it's not an everyday thing. So we use tomatoes and other stuff way more, so I'm really not upset about that. Now our watermelons, I have one that's growing, and I'm gonna leave it. I'm not really worried whether or not I get any watermelon or not either, because although we eat it, it is not a huge staple. Okay, over in this area, I have right here, this is the Chinese multicolored spinach. I have some carrots that are, I'm hoping that more will pop up, but if they don't, I'll just replant them. And then I have carrots right here. I have carrots in these 2 bags, and then I have seeded some lettuce that actually are, there's a couple that have popped up, but we'll see if more does. If they don't, then I'll reseed it. Okay, so this area over here I know looks a little bit messy, but let me show you exactly what you're seeing. All right, so I know some of you will right off the bat realize that these are potatoes. So I have, these are regular potatoes. I did do a second planting of potatoes. So in June, whenever I harvested all of my potatoes before, then right behind it I planted some more because we still had some seed potatoes. So I planted more. And they have already flowered, most of them. There are a few that haven't yet, but they've already flowered and they still look beautiful. This over here are my Beauregard sweet potatoes, and the vines are going crazy. So they're beautiful. I'm really very happy about that. All right, and then over beside the potatoes in this area are some onions that I'd never planted, as you guys see. Then this is sage, and then there's other herbs down in here. There's lemon balm over here, and this is mint. I have my Raxley bags over here, and they're pretty full. There's oregano and basil in that one. And that's all I did in that one. This one is rosemary and marigold and basil. My chamomile is pretty much done for, so I will be pulling it and I'll be replanting. I will probably go ahead and seed some chamomile because a couple of years ago I seeded some chamomile and they overwintered really well. So that's probably what I'll do. And then my chives are down in here. All of this is being overrun by the potato vines and sweet potato vines. So that's why it's a little bit harder to see. These are just various flowers. There's some snapdragons in there, some salvia, and then I have 2 bags of other different types of mint. I have peppermint and I have chocolate mint. And these boxes right here are ones that my husband brought home from work. And I'm going to be looking at planting in these too. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I will have to take the lids off. But anyways, that's what I'm going to be working on. All right. Okay, over here in this area, I have my ever-bearing strawberries. These are called Seascape, and as you see, they're blooming. We have actually been picking strawberries off of those occasionally here and there, and you can see they're blooming. They have been putting out little runners, if you see that one right there, and I just move it back over. I just gently move them over so that they can put down roots. So we've had a lot of new little babies. And I'm really excited for next year because I believe next year we're going to have a lot more. As you see, there's a little strawberry there. Okay, here's where I planted rings of cucumbers. So what I plan on doing is I plan on putting some like little posts up, and then around those posts I'm gonna put up some netting because I still have quite a bit of that Hortonova trellis. So I'm gonna do that here and there. I also have planted there and there. So we'll see. I've only got a couple over there that have come up, and 1 or 2 over there that have come up. So I'm still waiting on more of those to come up, but whatever. As long as, I mean, if I have to, I can just let those trail across the bed if I only have a couple come up over there. So yeah, I'm planning on having lots of cucumbers so that I can pickle them. So I planted that box out too, so we'll see how that goes. But I planted these 3 after I planted those 2. So we'll see. These are baby lima beans. These 2 bags right here are baby lima beans, and they actually have begun to bloom. So it's going to be a few weeks, and then we'll have baby lima beans to pick. As you see, these actually have quite a bit of bug damage. I haven't sprayed anything in my garden. Over 3 years, I have not sprayed anything. This year is the first year that I've had this amount of bug damage. So I don't know if it's because we had a mild winter or what, but it has been just a lot of bug damage. And so next year, if that's the case, I may get out and try to use some of the organic sprays, but I just don't even like to use those, to be honest. Okay, here is my sea of pepper plants. Some of them look great and some of them don't, and I'm going to take you through, and I'm just going to show you a little bit about what has been going on with my pepper plants. Okay, so these are the jalapeno plants that I started from seeds. And as you see, this part right here looks lovely, but look down in there. You see how those were just stripped? It was actually stripped all the way to here. They had maybe 1 or 2 leaves left on it, and like if you can tell, it looked like this. Okay, so I'm not sure what it is that actually stripped it of its leaves. I don't know if it was, an animal, or if it was slugs, or what the case may be, but it happened with these, which are jalapenos, and then it also happened with these over here, which are hatch peppers. And with the exception of this one, it never did bother the Carolina Reaper, but it did all of the hatch peppers. So it's only been hot peppers that it did that to. I'm not sure why. But anyways, so I ended up purchasing these 2 jalapeno plants, and they're blooming. I am getting blooms on my other jalapeno plants too. So, we haven't had any jalapeno peppers come in yet. My Tabascos look gorgeous, and they are loaded. So I'm expecting to be able to make a lot of Tabasco sauce, hopefully, because my family loves Tabasco sauce. These here are Pueblos. These are similar to hatch peppers, and these have been wonderful. They have grown. These have done so well. These right here, this one right here stayed short for a long time. It was just really, really stunted, it seemed like, but then it just really shot up, and it grew this really thick stalk, and it's see if you guys can see that Jamaican Scotch bonnet. So they're starting to really put out peppers. I'm excited. I'm just going to throw those in the freezer, and then whenever I need them for my curry, I'll just throw it in the pothole. Over here, these are my Pepperoncinis, and those have really, really produced very well. And then all of a sudden, something started eating on them. But not as badly as they did the others, because as you see, I still have plenty of pepper plants, and there's loaded blossoms and everything. These are my sweet chocolate peppers. I've only had a couple from them, which is disappointing, because in a couple years ago, whenever I grew them, they really put out the peppers. They were extremely productive plants. But they're just now starting, so hopefully we will get quite a few of those. These Murasaki purples have been extremely prolific, and we have really enjoyed those this year. I will definitely grow those again. These are my bell peppers, and these have not produced anything as of yet. These are my other Pueblo peppers that are supposed to be hotter than the other ones, and as you see, it's the same type of damage. So for whatever reason, they attacked the hot peppers. Over here are my Cubanelles. I haven't gotten much from them, but they are really gorgeous, lush, and they do have blossoms and stuff now. It just was taking them a long time. These right here are the Ahi Pineapple, and I've harvested quite a bit so far. And I harvest them a little bit early, and then as soon as they are starting to turn, I pick them. Because let me show you, I'll show you what they look like. They are this yellow color whenever they turn. So I generally try to start to pick them before they turn, when they're starting to get a yellow streak in them. But these started blooming, and they have not stopped. They're really big and bushy. I didn't prune them or anything, and they are just loaded with blossoms. So we hope, because they have a sweet flavor whenever they're ripe like this. They're sweet but really hot. They're hotter than a jalapeno. They're between 10 and 30,000 Scoville, and so they are quite spicy, and they're about the same as a Tabasco. So we're going to make some sauce with this, but it should make a sweet and spicy hot sauce. So I'm excited to try these. All right, over here, I came on this side to do this because it's just a little bit easier. These are lemon drop right here. These are the Sugar Rush Peach. As you see, there's loads and loads of peppers and blossoms. And then right here are the fish peppers, and I've gotten quite a few fish peppers off of here. They're about the same heat as the Ahi Pineapple and Tabasco. They're 10 to 30,000 Scoville as well. So I'm going to use those in sauce, or maybe I might just throw them in a freezer bag, and whenever I want to make a dish, just throw them in whole, like I'm going to do the Jamaican Scotch bonnet. I'm not sure. My Jimmy Nardellos, they produced a lot of peppers already. As you see, I'm starting to get some of that same damage as I did before, but it's coming back out. If you see, these are new leaves, new growth, and new blossoms down here. So that is one of the things that I have been very happy about, is that even though my pepper plants have really suffered some from pest pressure, they're really starting to come back now. So, okay, these are various type of bells. There's the Dew d'Espagne, Yellow Monster, and then there's a Jaworski in there as well. I haven't gotten anything off of any of these either. Some of these were later in blossoming than others. I'm not upset. I really haven't had many peppers so far this year, but they're, most of my peppers are just now starting to really produce, so I'm fine with that. But they also had some of that same damage, but not as much as the hot peppers. So we'll see. Then now my bean plants are kind of shading these out, and I probably need to move them. This great thing about growing in grow bags is that I can move them. I have my, this right here is my habanero. It's one of my habaneros. And this is a Tobago plant, or Tobago. I'm not sure how you say it. But anyways, it's got little peppers on it growing. And this is one that's used in Jamaica whenever they're making jerk chicken. And I just love it. So I'm excited about that one. Now my Poblano Peppers they've already produced several peppers. They are extremely tall. They're my taller plants. They are more than 4 feet tall. Because it's about the same, it's about my same height, but then the bag is about 12 inches. So that's why I subtract about a foot. So, now recently I have had issues with this damage right here is caused by Japanese beetles. So if you see right there, those Japanese beetles down there, that's what's been eating my poblanos. Now they haven't really done much of anything to my other pepper plants, just the poblano. And what I do is I pick the leaf off, because the leaves have plenty of, the plants have plenty of other leaves. I pick them off, if I can get it. I'm trying to pick it without them. Okay, so I pick them off, and I lay it on the ground, and then I smash them. So that way I don't have any more. Now in here as well, there are some on my cayennes as well. But if you see down in there, I've got plenty of cayennes growing as well, some that are turning. But yeah, my beans have kind of overgrown into here, so I have to move them to get my cayennes. But they're really beautiful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to make, some of them I will put in to cucumber jars whenever I pickle them, so that they'll be a little bit spicy dill pickles. And others I will just dehydrate and make cayenne pepper or some red pepper flakes. We really, we have a lot of work to do on our property, and with my illnesses, some would call them disabilities, and the time constraints, my husband is working a lot. He works quite a bit, and he has his own health issues that he has to deal with. My boys do a lot around here that most, kids that are the average kid who is not homesteading do a lot around here. But my kids do a lot in general, because they don't just do work around the house like this. They all, gardening and stuff like that. They're taking care of the quail. They're taking care of things in the house. They're learning to cook. They're learning to do laundry. They're learning to vacuum and all those kinds of things that a lot of kids don't know whenever they leave their home. So, my kids are busy. I'm busy. I often don't feel good. And of course, if I don't feel good and I don't tell them to do something, they're not going to do it. Unless it's like the birds. They always do them. So anyway, so thank you guys for spending time with us today, and we'll see you soon.